Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to Irfan AQAAID class 4 of 5. I hope you look forward to this class as well. Today we will be discussing Iman bil Malaika and Iman bil Qadr, inshallah. So let's start with our presentation. Okay, so first we have Iman bil Malaika, which is, of course, faith in angels, but we're going to discuss what that actually means, what angels even are, what their roles and duties and responsibilities are. So what are malaika itself? So the word al-malaika comes from al-malak and it's pluralized, so that becomes al-malaik or al-malaika for feminine. The ta at the end is there as a sign of feminine. That does not mean angels are feminine, it is just a grammatical addition. So the root word of that malaika comes from is alif lam kaf, which has the meaning of arsal, which is to send, or he sent, or they sent. So, which that literally means is to own or have ownership or power or control and authority, and it also refers to the power of control over a matter. And according to Imam Raghib al-Asfahani in Al-Mufradat, the word al-malaika is also used for heavenly souls. And they are called al-malaika because Allah assigned different matters to them, giving them power and authority to carry those specific matters and tasks out. And they also perform the duty of communicating Allah's message to His chosen individuals and prophets and messengers. And the scholars say, إِنَّهُمْ وَسَائِطٌ بَيْنَ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى وَبَيْنَ النَّاسِ. So these angels, they have the duty of intermediating between Allah and humanity. And in the academic and philosophical and theological history of humanity, there have been different interpretations and a number of opinions about the reality of angels, but the notion held by the majority of scholars and the most agreed upon and correct view is explained by Imam Baydawi in Al-Tafsir, where he says, فَذَهَبَ أَكْثَرُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ إِلَى أَنَّهَا أَجْسَامٌ لَطِيفَةٌ قَادِرَةٌ عَلَى التَّشَكُّلِ بِأَشْكَالٍ مُخْتَلِفَةٍ. According to the majority of Muslims, they are entities, so the angels are entities made of light capable of adopting different shapes. So here, latifa means light or transparent or not visible. So they're not visible to the human eye. They're subtle creatures of light, and human beings generally cannot see them. It's because humans can only see katif things, which means materialistic or physical things of this universe, and the average and common human being is not able to see the latif things or the transparent or the things outside of this physical materialistic world that we have. However, the friends or saints of Allah who have achieved spiritual excellence can see the angels with their spiritual eyes because the veil of physical limitations has been lifted for them. And they don't only see the angels, some of them can even meet and receive blessings from these angels. Like Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, her reports, the Prophet ﷺ said, خُلِقَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ مِن نُورٍ وَخُلِقَ الْجَانُّ مِن مَارِجٍ مِن نَارٍ وَخُلِقَ آدَمُ مِمَّا وُصِفَ لَكُمْ. So the Prophet ﷺ tells us that the angels have been made of light, and the jinnat are made from fire, and the human are created with what has been described for us, which is dust. So we are all three different types of creation, and the angels are a separate creation that have been made from light. So now let's discuss the angels in the Quran, how they've been described, and what is their reality and existence in light of the Quran. So some people deny the physical existence of angels because they don't understand the actual appreciation of the matter. They rather interpret the Quranic mention of angels as abstract forces of some kind, which is sheer misguidance. Angels are dignified creatures that carry out Allah's divine commands, and they are Allah's creation of light. It's wrong to believe that they are human spirits or divine attributes of forces of good and evil. So like we discussed, angels are not human souls or abstract powers or attributes of God. Instead, they are a permanent kind of creation separate from human beings and jinnat, and their abode is in the skies. And Allah has appointed these creatures of light to perform and execute specific tasks. And since these angels serve the truth and their existence itself does not allow or include the possibility of sin or disobedience, because they have not been created with free will in the same way that humans or jinn have been made. They don't have the possibility or in their existence to sin or disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because angels have been created inherently ma'soom or innocent, and so they don't have the ability to cause fitna or conflict or injustice of any kind in the same way that in the way that humans and jinn have, because we have free will to choose between right and wrong. So because they don't have that free will, they will not be held accountable in the day of judgment, because they don't have the ability to choose between right or wrong, or to even do wrong. But some nations in the past used to mistakenly believe in angels as Allah's daughters, na'udhu, and some nations even used to associate the angels' works with Allah's divine power and committed shirk, and some nations even worshipped the angels. But the Quran has clarified these issues at many places. Example, in Surah Zukhruf, in verse 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَعَلُوا الْمَلَائِكَةَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ إِنَاثًا أَشَهِدُوا خَلْقَهُم سَتُكْتَبُ شَهَادَتُهُمْ وَيُسْأَلُونَ. And they have declared the angels who are the servants of the Most Kind Lord to be women. Were they present at the time of their creation? They were not. So now their witness will be recorded and they will be interrogated on the last day. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the issue of when people used to believe in angels as the daughters of Allah, and he's questioning these people, were they present at the time of the creation of these angels? Of course not. So he is clearly clearing any sort of doubts as to what the angels' existence is for. And again, for this matter, in Surah Anbiya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again clarifies this when he says, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا سُبْحَانَهُ بَلْ عِبَادٌ مُكْرَمُونَ. And they say, the Most Kind Lord has taken angels as his children. Holy is he. Nay, the angels whom they consider his children are but Allah's esteemed servants. So for people who believe in angels as Allah's children, Allah is clarifying to us that instead they are Allah's servants and creation. Of course, Allah does not have any offspring of any kind. So this matter is also being cleared. And the nature of their servanthood and the purpose of their existence to serve and praise Allah is also explained in the Quran and Surah Anbiya as well. In verse 20, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُسَبِّحُونَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ لَا يَفْتُرُونَ. They glorify him night and day ceaselessly and do not observe even a momentary pause. So as part of the purpose of the existence of angels is to praise and glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which they do constantly, all the time. Unlimited numbers of angels are always praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are many that are assigned just to do that. Of course, there are angels that fulfill the tasks and duties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala across the universe, but there are so many and countless angels that are appointed just to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, according to explain the purpose of their praise and glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Zumar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَرَى الْمَلَائِكَةَ حَافِينَ مِنْ حَوْلِ الْعَرْشِ يُسَبِّحُونَ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّهِمْ وَقُضِيَ بَيْنَهُم بِالْحَقِّ وَقِيلَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And O beloved, you will see the angels all around the throne in circles, glorifying the Lord with his praise. So there are countless angels constantly glorifying and praising and doing tasbihat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to tell us Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about the angels' obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the fact that that is their purpose and they only obey Allah and they do not have the ability to disobey. In Surah Anbiya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يسبقونه بالقول وهم بأمره يعملون. They do not precede him in any word and they remain engaged in carrying out only his command. So that is their purpose. Follow the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah also, where he wills, helps his beloved people and friends through the angels, like how he helped the angels fight like how he helped the Muslims through the angels in the Battle of Badr when the enemy, the kuffar, were unlimited. They were much more in number than the Muslims. They were over 1,000, whereas the Muslims were only a couple of hundred. Uh, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped those uh, companions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam fight the kuffar with the angels. The angels became the mujahideen with the Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us this in Surah Al Imran. إِن تَصْبِرُوا وَتَتَّقُوا وَيَأْتُوكُم مِّن فَوْرِهِمْ هَذَا يُمْدِدْكُمْ رَبُّكُم بِخَمْسَةِ آلاف مِّنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ مُسَوِّمِينَ. Yes, if you remain steadfast and persist in God weariness, and these unbelievers suddenly attack you with full force, then your Lord will come to your aid with 5,000 angels distinctly marked. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is telling the companions at that time who were steadfast and they were committed to their jihad when the kuffar were coming to fight them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 5,000 angels to help them fight in the Battle of Badr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps humanity to uh, achieve success and to through the angels, and the angels also fulfill his tasks to help with the operation of the universe. So now let's discuss the duties and responsibilities of the angels. So of course, unquestioning obedience is a distinctive characteristic of angels, like we discussed, and they perform different duties according to Allah's command. But the power they have is not their own. They're just acting upon the power that Allah has given them. And because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Surah Nahl in verse 50, يَخَافُونَ رَبَّهُم مِّن فَوْقِهِمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. They keep fearing their Lord, who is high above them, whatever command, and obey whatever command they are given. So, like we discussed again, their purpose is to just obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and glorify Him. So, there are some prominent angels that have been appointed throughout the history of the universe to perform specific tasks. So, of course, we all know about Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, who is the leader of all the angels, and he's also been given the duty to communicate the books and the revelations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his messengers. And we discussed this last week about the revelations, and often Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam would bring revelations to the prophets. It's also one of his duties. And the matters of afflicting divine wrath has also been appointed to him. So where nations in the past, the entire nations were punished for their disobedience and their sins, when they would all be punished, that punishment would be delivered by Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam. So yeah, when a community's annihilation is decided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he appoints Sayyidina Jibreel to help his friends and beloved people against his enemies. So that is Sayyidina Jibreel, the leader of the angels, and then we know that Sayyidina Mikael alayhi salam, who is appointed to matters pertaining to security, rains, greenery, the sustenance and weather of the universe. And Sayyidina Israel alayhi salam, who is the angel of death, the matter of withdrawing souls from bodies has been appointed to this angel. And Sayyidina Israfil alayhi salam, who has been appointed for blowing the trumpet on the day and near the day of judgment. And Prophet ﷺ tells us this when Sayyidina Abu Hurairah narrates. The Prophet ﷺ said, "There is no doubt that Israfil, ever since he has been appointed to blow the trumpet, is ever ready with his eyes upon the throne without a blink, lest he should be directed to blow it before blinking his eyes, as if both eyes are shining stars." So his entire duty and role is to wait until the time comes for the trumpet to be blown to, as a sign of the day of judgment. So these are the four most prominent angels that we know of. And another pair of angels that we have probably heard of are the angels who keep record of our human deeds, and they are known as Kiraman Katibin. They record all our deeds, sins, good actions for our entire life. We have them with us, and the Holy Quran tells us this in Surah Al-Infitar. وَإِنَّ عَلَيْكُمْ لَحَافِظِينَ, whereas there are guardian angels appointed over you, كِرَامًا كَاتِبِينَ, who are dignified scribes of all your deeds, يَعْلَمُونَ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ. They know all those actions which you do. So every action that we do is always being recorded by these angels. That is their responsibility. And in another place in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Zukhruf, أَمْ أَبْرَمُوا أَمْرًا فَإِنَّ مُبْرِمُونَ. Have they, the disbelievers of Makkah, finalized any scheme against the messenger blessings? So we too are going to take the ultimate action. أَمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّا لَا نَسْمَعُ سِرَّهُمْ وَنَجْوَاهُمْ بَلَى وَرُسُلُنَا لَدَيْهِمْ يَكْتُبُونَ. Do they think that we do not hear the secret talk and whisperings? Why not? We do listen, and the angels sent by us also remain within, busy writing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is warning the disbelievers who would act against Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that every single thing that they are doing and they think that is in secret and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam don't know is constantly being recorded by the angels kiram and katibin. So here the angels are being used to warn and to warn the kuffar of all their actions being recorded, and they will be held accountable for those actions on the day of judgment. And according to Ibn Jurayj, he says about Kiram and Katibin that they are two angels. One stays on the human's right side and records their righteous deeds. So on our right side, we have the angel from Kiram and Katibin recording our good deeds, and the other one stays on our left side and records the evil deeds. But one thing to note about Allah's mercy here is that the one on the right side that records the righteous deeds does it without asking the left to witness it. Anytime you do a good deed, it will be written automatically. But the left side, whenever you commit a wrong deed or a sin, will ask the right side to witness that sin. So it's double checked and it's confirmed. Whereas, so it shows Allah's mercy that our good deeds are automatically accepted, but our bad deeds and sins are always double checked to make sure to minimize the sin and to maximize the reward that we get, because this is Allah's love and mercy. So the right one automatically writes our deeds, doesn't ask the left one to witness it, but the left one always asks the right one to witness and confirm if you have done a bad deed or a sin. And when we sit, there on our right and left sides, but when we walk, one is ahead of us and the other is behind us. And when we sleep, one is towards our head and the other is towards our feet. So they are constantly with us, even in sleep. And Allah subhanahu tells us this about them being in our right and left in Surah Qaf. إِذْ يَتَلَقَّى الْمُتَلَقِّيَانِ عَنِ الْيَمِينِ وَعَنِ الشِّمَالِ قَعِيدٌ. When the two receivers receive, so here receivers refers to the recording angels. They're sitting on the right and on the left. مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. Not a word does he utter, but a watcher is there beside him ready to write it. So talking about here that the angels are there to witness your deeds and record them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here clearly tells us about the right and the left. This is being revealed in the Quran. So this is just generally the most commonly known angels, and there are millions and unlimited numbers of angels appointed to lots and thousands of different duties across the universe. Some are appointed to just visit the holy shrine of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and to send salutations upon him. And according to some reports, about 70,000 go in the morning, 70,000 go in the evening, and some angels only get that opportunity once in their lifetime, and that angel will have only gone once. So there's 70,000 new angels morning and night just appointed to send salutations on the Prophet ﷺ. There are angels appointed to just glorify and praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's an unlimited number and that carry out so many different tasks across the universe. But what we must bear in mind and keep in mind is that they are not some sort of abstract force or some kind of human soul. They are a separate creation made of light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the difference between them and humans and jinn is that they do not have the ability to sin. They only have the ability to obey Allah because they do not have free will, Hence, they will not be held accountable on the Day of Judgment. So their purpose of existence is the servanthood of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to serve and obey and glorify and praise Him. That is the essential thing we need to know, and to believe in that is Iman bil Malaika, and believing in the angels as a separate creation and creation of light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is essential to our Iman. If we think of them as some sort of abstract force, or like I said, some nations used to believe in them as children of Allah or even worship them, that will automatically remove us from Iman. So having the correct belief about the angels is essential to having our Iman and fulfilling the 7 articles of faith that we discussed in week 1. So now that was just a brief overview of Iman bil Malaika. We will now discuss Iman bil Qadr, so faith in destiny. So this can be a quite complex topic, so we will go in this just surface level, because it goes into free will, consciousness, Allah's creation, and purpose of our creation and destiny. It can be confusing for the common person, and it can sometimes lead to endangering our faith. So it's very important that we get this knowledge from the correct places and we don't go in too much depth, because that can lead to more confusion. So what we need to know essentially, that the meaning of Iman bil Qadr is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has eternally and known all the conditions, states, circumstances, and situations through which any individual passes during their life in this world. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the divine knowledge of that before it was to happen. And Allah has written it down in the Lawh al-Mahfuz, which is the secure tablet, the divine tablet in which everything is written. And He has created both good and evil. We need to believe in this regarding each individual person's life. And He has given each individual person the freedom of choice as to which of the 2 paths they will follow, good or evil. Allah mentions this in the Quran in Surah Balad. أَلَمْ نَجْعَلِ لَهُ عَيْنَيْنِ وَلِسَانًا وَشَفَتَيْنِ وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Have we not made for him 2 eyes, and have we not given him a tongue and 2 lips, and have we also not shown him the 2 highways of good and evil? So Allah is saying that in part of our original creation of our body parts, our eyes, lips, and tongue, the free will to choose between good and evil is an essential part of our creation, and it was given to us as we were created. So this explains that human beings are not merely helpless or incapable of doing anything of their own accord. It's not that it has just been written that this person will do wrong in their life, and that is something that we just follow because Allah has written that for us. No, we have been given the choice to choose between good and right. That is part of our creation. In the same way that our physical body was created, our free will and the right to choose is also part of our creation. So the truth of the matter is that whatever human hands have earned or are going to earn is all a part of divine knowledge. This itself is known as Al-Qadr, which is destiny, and believing in it, as I have just explained, is Iman bil Qadr, or faith in destiny. So there are 2 terms we need to consider here. They are called Qada and Qadar. So first we will talk about Qada. The word Qada literally means to judge or to execute a command or to perform a duty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this great manifest of divine power and control, our universe, and subjected it to certain laws, which are called the laws of nature. These laws work to execute the divine decree, and He creates new creatures whenever appropriate and wherever suitable according to His will. So this word qada itself refers to the laws of nature, for example, such as the law of cause and effect. Another example is that it has been decreed that good deeds will bear good fruits, whereas evil deeds will bring evil ends. This is one of the examples of the laws of nature that Allah has created. So this is qada. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about this in Surah Baqarah. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. There is a reward for whatever good it has earned, and there is torment for whatever evil it has perpetrated. So the law of cause and effect, if you do good, you will get a good result. If you do bad, you'll get a bad result. This is one of the laws of nature and refers to the word qada. Next, we have the word, we have the word qadar. So according to Imam Raghib Asfahani and Al-Mufradat, qadar itself, the word literally means to estimate or to ordain or to decree. So here when we talk about qadar, it refers to Allah externally knowing every single creature's deeds, conditions, and states. So the external divine knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the word qadar here refers to that part of that knowledge which has been transferred to the Allah al-Mahfuz. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the divine knowledge of every single thing in creation that has happened and is going to happen, and that knowledge has been transferred to the Lawh al-Mahfuz, has been written, and that is what our qadr or destiny is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Yasin, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, and we have encompassed everything in the illuminating book. So here that book is Allah al-Mahfuz, that secure tablet which has everything written in it. So everything that Allah is part of Allah's knowledge and divine knowledge of our deeds, our lives, our conditions, our states, everything Allah knows has been transferred into this Lawh al-Mahfuz, which has become our qadr. And Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu narrates that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كتب الله مقادير الخلائق قبل أن يخلق السماوات والأرض ب50 ألف سنة وعرشه على الماء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had written the destiny of all the creation 50,000 years prior to the creation of the earth and the heavens, while this throne was upon water. So all of the things that were going to happen in this universe, every single thing was known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it was written in the Lawh al-Mahfuz 50,000 years before the universe was even created. So that's just two terms we need to know about qada and qadr. The qadr is what has been written in Lawh al-Mahfuz. That's essentially what we need to know. But when we talk about Lawh al-Mahfuz and what has been written in it, the question arises, can it be changed, or what is written in it, is it final? So here, this is when we categorize the qadr. It is of three types. So number one is mubram haqiqi, which is irrevocable or permanent. The destiny which has been written for us, and it is permanent and cannot be changed. Then we have number two, which is mubram ghair haqiqi, semi-irrevocable. So what that means is that it cannot be changed unless there is a certain means. So the destiny can't be withdrawn unless it's been held back by a certain means. And then the third one we have, which is mu'allaq, which is revocable, which can change. And it's just not permanent. It can be altered. So what this tells us, these three types tells us that what is written, everything that is written in the Lawh al-Mahfuz is not final. It can be subject to changes, but those changes are also part of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a divine knowledge of everything. So when we think about the first type, the irrevocable and permanent, this represents the final decision. So it cannot be changed at all. So for example, when the angels were sent down to the people of Lut alayhi salam to execute the commandment of inflicting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine torment on them, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam requested Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cancel it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Prophet Ibrahim in Surah Hud, Allah says, Ya Ibrahimu a'rid an hada innahu qad jaa amru rabbika wa innahum atihim adabun ghayru mardud. The angel said, O Ibrahim, leave off this matter. Surely the command of torment from your Lord has now come to pass, and the torment is about to seize them, which cannot be averted. So the angels told the Prophet Ibrahim that the torment could not be avoided or averted because it was a destiny that could not be withdrawn. So this was mubram haqiqi, it was irrevocable and permanent, and it was written and it was going to happen, and it cannot be changed. So that is an example for the first one, which was a permanent destiny, mubram haqiqi. So now we come to the second type, which was mubram ghair haqiqi, which is semi-irrevocable, can be changed with certain means. So this destiny can be changed, but the strength, sorry. So the destiny here can be withdrawn or changed, but it's only with certain means, and that certain means is always, almost always, supplication or intercession of some kind. So this is the type about which Al-Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani has said that that he can reverse a reversible destiny. The word of the Holy Prophet about such destiny says, لا يرد القضاء إلا الدعاء ولا يزيد في الأمور إلا البر. So only supplication can reverse the destiny. So yes, when I say certain means, that refers to supplication, and the more earnest your supplication and the supplication of the beloved persons of Allah can lead to change in certain destinies. And in another place about dua being the means of changing mubrum ghair hakiki, Prophet ﷺ says, "Inna du'a yaruddu al-qada al-mubram." Undoubtedly, supplication can reverse the semi-irrevocable destiny. So our dua and the intercession and the dua of the beloved people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what can change certain destinies that have been written in Lawh al-Mahfuz. So that was our second type. And the third and last type is mu'alaq, destiny, which is within the reach of many saintly friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and other righteous people. So it can be changed through any of Allah's blessings, such as prophetic intercession, supplications of the honorable friends of Allah, serving your parents, and performing charitable acts. So any of these different examples and acts, good deeds that we do in the beloved people of Allah can lead to changing this type of destiny. And Allah has promised that He changes the destiny of a sincere and chosen servant in accordance with their changing intention and supplication if He wishes so. So there are certain things that have been written in our Lawh al-Mahfuz that if we are sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and are beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and perform certain good deeds that are beloved to Him, it is possible for them to be changed if Allah wishes so. And it says so in the Quran in Surah Rad in verse 39. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. Allah erases whatever writing He wills and confirms whatever He wills, and with Him alone is the real book. So here the real book refers to Lawh al-Mahfuz. So Allah can change and confirm whatever He wills, meaning that there is destiny that can be changed. So here there's an example of Iblis when he did not show respect for Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam by refusing to do sajda to him, and this fact made him a disbeliever. He said, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us what he said in Surah Hijr, قَالَ رَبِّي فَأَنذِرْنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. He said, O Lord, then grant me respite to remain alive until the day when people will be raised up again from their graves. قَالَ فَإِنَّكَ مِنَ الْمُنذَرِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, be off, indeed you are amongst those granted respite. إِلَى يَوْمِ الْوَقْتِ الْمَعْلُومِ, till the day of the appointed time. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the request of shaitan to be given life until the day of judgment. So if Allah can accept the supplication of shaitan, the cursed one, and change his destiny to be given life until the last day, surely Allah the Almighty can most certainly change the destiny through the supplications and dua and intercession of His beloved people and His true friends. So this shows us that there are certain destinies that can be changed. Certain destinies can only be changed only through supplication, and it's semi-irrevocable, that is mubram ghair hakiki, and there are certain destinies that are easier to be changed. It can be changed by a common Muslim, common mu'min, if they are sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and perform sincere and beloved acts. So one example here is of Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab, where he talks about this destiny and how it can be changed, and the nature of destiny actually. It's narrated by Ibn Sa'ad that during the time of Sayyidina Umar, he was the second rightly guided Caliph of Islam. There was a plague that broke out in Syria, and while he was traveling there. So he was on the way there, and he was notified of the fact that there was a plague in Syria. So to escape the spread of the epidemic and to avoid it being spread to other places, he hastened to leave the area and did not travel further. And the companion Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu said to him, "Atafirru min qadarillah? Do you escape from the destiny of Allah?" So his perspective was that the destiny was to go, and if death is written for you, it will happen. But the companions, Sayyidina Umar who replied, "Afirru min qada'illahi ila qadarillah." I escape from the rule of nature set by Allah, such as the cause and effect, towards the destiny of Allah. So he was escaping the rule of cause and effect. Of course, if he went there, he would get the plague. That would be the cause and effect. But what this means here is that what he was trying to say here is that if there is an epidemic and I manage to save myself from it by escaping to some other place, my prevention and my escaping from that illness would also be Allah's destiny, because Allah uh, uh, has written this in Lawh al-Mahfuz based on His prior knowledge of it. So this shows that Allah changes the writing of the protected Lawh al-Mahfuz as He pleases from His prior knowledge. Such a change happens in the form of mu'allaq destiny. So in the beginning of Iman bil Qadr, I talked about how if we go in too much depth into this topic, are we allowed to consider it? So the scholars and the Prophet ﷺ told us that we are not allowed to reflect upon it in depth because we cannot grasp it. And the hadith of the Prophet directs us to not contemplate the issue of divine destiny because it can potentially lead to the destruction of our faith. Because the Prophet ﷺ says, so according to Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, عن أبي هريرة قال خرج علينا رسول الله. So according to Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ came to us ونحن نتنازع في القدر, while we were discussing the matter of destiny. فغضب حتى احمر وجهه, and his face, the indignation and the anger, you can say, reddened his face as if the grains of pomegranate had been squeezed upon his holy cheeks. These are the words of Sayyidina Abu Hurairah. حتى كأنما فقي في وجنتيه حب الرحمن. So his face, blessed face and cheeks became very red. فقال, Prophet then said, أبهذا أمرتم أم بهذا أرسلت إليكم? Have you been commanded of this? Have I been sent to you with this? Prophet said to the companions, did I tell you to discuss this matter? Did I come here to tell you to discuss this? إنما هلك من كان قبلكم حين تنازعوا في هذا الأمر أزمت عليكم أن لا تنازعوا فيه. The communities prior to you were destroyed when they disputed about this issue. I adjure you to never discuss this matter. So Prophet ﷺ commanded the companions not to go into too depth because prior communities, prior nations, when they went into too much depth, their faith was potentially destroyed and their communities as a result were destroyed. So because we do not have the capability to understand this topic and this concept of destiny, it is best if we avoid going into too much depth. And of course, the Prophet ﷺ and the great friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala understand this issue, but for the common Muslim, it is best if we do not go into too much depth, and that is the command of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So today we discussed the Iman bil Malaika, and what Malaika are, what their creation is, their separate creation from humans and jinnat, what is their roles and responsibilities, who are some famous angels and what is their responsibilities, and then we discussed faith and destiny. What is destiny? Can it be changed? Are we allowed to discuss it? These were the essential things that we need to know for Iman bil Malaika and Iman bil Qadr as a part of the 7 articles of faith that we discussed in week 1. And next week, inshallah, we will be discussing our final topic, which is Iman bil Akhirah. So faith in the last day, faith in the judgment, faith in life after death. That will be quite an expansive topic, so we will take more time in that, inshallah. So that is all for today. Um, I hope you enjoyed listening. Jazakallah khair, and I will see you all next week.